Hello, how you doing? It's Gus Tucker here, Financial Freedom Fridays. How's everybody doing today? It is September. Do you remember? Ah, yeah, that's what's up. Hey, Gerard, how you doing, man? So it's September, and man, it's fall. I'm up here in Chicago, and so it's turned fall. To get that little cool in the air, and it's still nice, but it's coming, right? So yeah, but we're excited, man. A lot of good stuff's happening. This is still Life Insurance Awareness Month. This is Financial Freedom Fridays, and we got a lot of good stuff that's happening. Um, I'm going to allude to it was hot this summer, but I'm going to be introducing to you a organization that it looks like I'm going to be partnering with to bring financial education to um, the financial services industry and leadership through a minority owned what's called a field marketing organization. In the insurance business, there's basically three ways you can get a product to the market. You can get it through the media, like through email, the internet, that kind of thing, direct to the consumer, right through the media. Second way is through a captive agent. Captive agent. A captive agent is like State Farm, Allstate, one of the like property and casualty companies, and there are some life insurance companies that the agent works for the company and they only market the products the agent sells. Then there are independent marketing organizations called IMO or field marketing organizations called FMO. Now, I was in the industry for many years and never really understood how it was structured. And to some degree, that's by design. That's why there are very few minority-owned FMOs and IMOs. Well, I've become aware of one, and we'll see what happens, how that relationship materializes, or if it materializes. But um, I'm going to bring on some of the guys from that organization because they're consummate professionals, and they know things that just in general, if you're not a part of that world, you just don't know. All right, and there are some things that people know. Hey, Raphael, how you doing? Good afternoon. That you just don't know, right? And so it's like there are prerequisites to getting wisdom. And the first prerequisite is ignorance and recognizing that you're ignorant about something and that you need to learn. Then you get knowledge. And the more knowledge you get about something, the better off you are. Because with that knowledge, after knowledge comes understanding, you begin to understand how it works. And the more knowledge you have, it feeds your understanding so you know better how it works. And then you get wisdom, which is the ability to apply your understanding and your knowledge in real life. Okay. And so we're going to be bringing on some guys that have a lot of wisdom, and ladies have a lot of wisdom in this area to bring it to you. So yeah, that's one of my favorite sayings. You see that Ellis, he's something else. You can Google knowledge, but you can't Google wisdom, baby. Wisdom comes from living life and applying it, making mistakes and learning. So my goal, the best way to learn something is from somebody else's experience. Your experience is too costly because it costs you both time and money. And time is the most important thing, right? So we want to save you both time and money. And the word system, SYSTEM, we're teaching you a system. You may not know it, like wax on, wax off. I want to learn how to fight. I want to learn how to fight. Wax on, wax off. You just teach me to fix the fence and clean the car. When you gonna teach me how to fight? Then you got in the ring, wax on, wax off, and you learned how to fight. So you learn the system. System means S, save, Y, yourself, S, yourself, save yourself, T, time, E, energy, and M, money. Save yourself, time, energy, and money. So we're going to teach you a system, okay? So we're going to start with this first presentation. We're going to click through a bunch of this real quick because we've gone through it before. We're going to click, 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 go here, boom. There's 4 levels of wealth that we're gonna introduce you to, and this concept. You see this blue slide. This is a concept from this organizational this financial pro network that they talk about. The 4 levels of wealth. One is financial stability. Man, you got to get stable, right? So the money's coming in on the regular at a certain level, so you can, pay your bills, keep things going, right? Level two, financial security, right? So you've had the money coming in stably as security. Man, you've knocked down the debts, right? Maybe you got a mortgage and a car note, but you can see yourself clear how that's going to get knocked out, right? And the money's stable. Now you're feeling pretty secure about things. Financial freedom is either you've paid off the debts or your investments are throwing enough cash off that they can pay off the debts, right? And you've got enough money, OPM, other people's money, making money for you, or you've got portfolio income, money coming from a portfolio, or you've got passive income, money coming from a business where you're now free and you don't have to do the work thing every day and you're not really concerned about money anymore. Financial abundance is where there's enough money coming from all those sources that you can take care of your generation, the next one, and the next one. The whole multi-generational wealth, it can be done, and we're going to show you how to do it. Now, there are 8 financial breakthroughs. I can't go through them all today, but I'm going to bring people in who are going to teach you about each one of these and show you some real life examples and concepts of how you can put this in place for yourself. First thing is financial awareness. Okay, and some of this print might be small, but I'll make that a little bit bigger. So one is enhancing your financial education. You've got about 18 books we're going to suggest that you get and read. Discover your financial DNA. Not everybody relates to money the same way. Not everybody relates to money the same way. And there are things you can do to understand how you relate to money and what's programmed you to think about money the way you do. And then financial courses and seminars. Remember I talked about ignorance, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom? If you don't study it, how you gonna know it? Hello. If you don't study a subject, how you gonna know it? Talk to me. So we got to spend some time on this money thing. Protection from threats. We were talking about this earlier. You say protection from threats, man. You start looking around corners and stuff like that. I reach for something when I feel a threat. Okay, but you need to protect yourself from threats. Threat to your what? Threat to your income. Threat to your loss of income. That might happen through illness. It might happen through an accident. It might happen through identity theft, a layoff, a lot of things. But these threats that are out there, there are 10 of them that we're going to teach you about that you need to protect yourself from. You need cash flow today, and we'll look at your cash flow, your money that's coming in, money's going out, stuff you have on auto draft, right? And we'll look at different cash flow ideas and opportunities to increase your cash flow, because the cash flow is what you're going to leverage and use to create your dream lifestyle. Then we'll look at your debt to income ratio. We're going to look at how you manage your debt and liabilities, that you understand cash flow, and ways to augment and increase your credit score. Debt isn't necessarily bad, but it's like any other tool. It's a leverage tool. That's why you see that fulcrum on there. It's a leverage tool. People in real estate know this all too well. You can leverage to do real estate. You can leverage to buy options in the stock market. There's a way to use leverage in an appropriate way to magnify whatever you're doing financially and to speed it up. But you got to be smart about that. Then liquidity. You got to have liquid cash, right? So you have a 6-month emergency fund, or what I like to call unplanned event fund. Because if you have the money, it's not an emergency. The only time it becomes an emergency is something happens that you hadn't planned on and you don't have the money. Now it's an emergency. Okay. And then a plan for business opportunities. Man, you ever have business opportunities come along and you don't have the money to take care of it? But there are strategies that you can use to have that money. 10, 25, 50, 100 grand, $1 million that you got access to. So when something comes along, that's not a once in a lifetime thing or too good to be true, but a real solid business opportunity, you could jump on it. Okay. Then legacy and succession planning. How do you use life insurance to develop wealth? There are tiers of assets. Life insurance is a tier one asset. Like for banks and other financial institutions, money they have in life insurance is a tier one asset, most liquid, most stable assets you can get. How can you make life insurance a part of your asset base? A will and a trust, an estate plan, and how do you develop a legacy, right? For your business, how does it succeed you, right? And your family, how does it succeed you? What are the intellectual property, the financial and legal tools you need to have in place to make sure that legacy and succession plan is going to happen? Like people say all the time, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. I say, great. Do you have the financial and legal tools in place to make that happen? What are those? And then accountability. Who's checking up on you? People don't do what you expect. They do what you inspect. Ladies, there have any ladies out there? Holidays, folk coming over. You clean your house and clean your house places that people ain't looked in 5 years. That somebody may come over and pull the door back and look and see, and you don't want them to see dirt. You want them to see clean. Like, yeah, because it says something about you. That's accountability. You want to do the same thing for your money. So when you pull the door back, people say, yeah, they doing the right thing with their money everywhere. Does that make sense? And then set up a family office. Like get an accountability coach. Somebody's going to hold you responsible. Have a financial professional and then a family office. Well, typically family offices are people with $50 to $100 million, which means they have full-time on their payroll attorneys, accountants, investment professionals, realtors, and people like that to manage their money and their portfolios. You can have a family office and not have them full-time on your payroll, but they're familiar enough with your circumstances that you can call them up and pay them when you need to so they can give you advice, okay? So we're going to be working on these 8 financial breakthroughs going forward. Does that make sense? Somebody say, yeah. All right. Now, September is Life Insurance Awareness Month, okay? And we're going to look at some life insurance concepts right now. And we talked about this last time. What is life insurance? It's a contract between a life insurance company and a policy owner. A life insurance policy guarantees what? The insurer pays a sum of money to one or more named beneficiaries when the insured person dies in exchange for premiums paid by the policyholder during their lifetime. Something we all know about ourselves. We don't know when it's going to happen, but here's what we know. We know we're going to pass away. I know we don't like to think about it, but that's just a reality of life, right? And so when you bet on something, right? When you bet on something, the reason why there's a risk is that it may not happen exactly the way that you intended it to. Like I live in Chicago. So if you're betting on the Bears, you're betting on the Bears to lose. Unless they play in a high school team, then it might be even up. But anyway, so that was a bad joke. But anyway, a bet means there's a sense of risk in it. Yeah, the Bears will lose, no doubt about it, man. So the here's one thing I know about everybody. Just listen to me. You're going to pass away. I don't know exactly when that is, but you don't get out of this alive. So insurance is a bet on your life that one day you're going to pass away. And when you pass away, the income that you were making, if you're still gainfully employed, or the business entities that you own or whatever, they're going to be without your input. So that's a value, and your life insurance ensures that the life that you were making happen before you passed away keeps going. Does that make sense? Life insurance. Ensure that the life you intended still happens. So you need to have life insurance, okay? Or the life, who's going to write your family a check to replace the income that you're going to leave if you go away, okay? So what is life insurance? It's a legally binding contract that pays a death benefit to the policy owner when the person dies. For a policy to remain in force, you got to pay the premium, okay? When the person dies, the beneficiaries get the policy's face value or death benefit. I have another friend of mine who just received a significant death benefit. Now she's a single mom. She doesn't have to go back to work. She used the time to go to school, get some education. Now she's launched her own business. She just put out some bids for contracts. It looks like she's going to be awarded them, and they're going to be several times what she was making as a employee. But she wouldn't have the time or the ability to grieve or do that without that life insurance policy. She didn't have to worry about anything. You feel me? All right. The person was going to die anyway. Like my mother used to say, don't cry twice. Don't cry when the Negro dies, and don't cry when you ain't got no money. Get you some life insurance. That was my mama, right? So what is life insurance? We talked about that. There's a couple different kinds, term and permanent. Term expires after a certain number of years. The policy remains active, okay? But after the 10, 20, 30, 40 years, boom. It's like renting an apartment. You're renting insurance for a number of years. Permanent policies stay in place. They're set up that if you keep paying the premium, they can last till you're 120 years old. Or if you build enough cash up in there, you can stop paying the premium, and the cash accumulated in the policy will pay the premiums, right, until you pass away. Okay? You only want to deal with A-rated, multiple A-rated insurance companies. Do your research. Make sure they pay their bills, okay, so that you can have assurance that your insurance is going to be there. We talked about what kind to buy. There's two kinds, term and permanent. Term insurance is when your insurance needs are on a limited time horizon, maybe for a mortgage or college expenses. You want to make sure that if something happened to you while those two things are still a burden to your family, they can be taken care of. Why might you get permanent insurance? Longer time horizon. I was talking to a spouse, a family, and I think she's 37, he's 35, and he makes 6 figures a year. And I asked the wife, I said, wife, what if your husband had died yesterday? Obviously he didn't because he was on the call with me on the Zoom. I said, how long would you want his income to come in? She thought about it. She said, the rest of my life. Now she's 37. How long is that? Long time. So what's 100 grand plus times 50 years? Woo, that's a chunk. But that's how much money he's going to bring in. How much of that would you want to protect? So if you have needs that have a longer time horizon, you need permanent insurance. If you desire to build cash, now why would you? You need to put your investments and your insurance products separate, certain people say. But there are tax benefits to using life insurance. The money grows without being taxed, and you can take it out without being taxed. Okay? And you can build generational wealth. What if everybody in your family that ever passed away, the following was true? The husband and wife each had $250,000 of life insurance on them, and they had a house that was paid off worth $100,000. That means each family unit in your background was worth 600 grand. So if there's you and then your mom and dad, that's 1.2 million, right? You go back to another generation, that's 2.4 million. Plus the 1.2, that's 3.6. You go back to the next generation, that's 4.8. Plus the 2.4, that's 7.2. Plus your family is 1.2, that's 8.4 million. Question, how many of you guys had an $8.4 million trust fund when you were born? Or at least a multi-six-figure trust fund when you were born? Well, guess what? That's one of the ways wealthy people stay wealthy. They have a trust set up, and then inside the trust is a permanent life insurance product that you have to have if you're going to be a beneficiary of the trust, so that when you die, you help keep the trust funded by your life insurance policy, so you never run out of money. It's ingenious. You know who made that kind of trust famous? A little known family named Rockefeller. Ever heard of them? I'm just saying. With term insurance, there's different kind, increasing or decreasing. Like there's term insurance that you can buy a certain amount now, and every year the amount you own goes up, but the amount you pay goes up too, and also decreasing. Why is that? Because you think your needs are going to increase as you get older, and they do. Because you're renting now, buy a house, have kids, college, decreasing term for the same reason. Then there's level benefit term, where the benefit stays level and what you pay stays level. Then there's something called return of premium term. that, let's say you buy a 20-year policy and you live the whole 20 years, you don't die. You can get the whole 20 years that you paid into that policy back in cash. Yep, yep. Some companies that are term policy, they'll allow you to borrow against that money that's going to accumulate in your policy on a term insurance policy. And term insurance also has living benefits. So if you get critical or chronic illness, heart attack, stroke, cancer, something that happens to you, it gets you sideways for a while and you can't work and stuff like that. You can get some benefit out of your life insurance policy for something like that that does not kill you. That does not kill you. Okay? And it's separate from an accelerated terminal illness. You're not terminal. You just had something that for 6 months knocked you out the box. There's a way for you to cash in on part of your insurance policy to get money back from that. Now, there's permanent insurance. And there's basically two kinds, fixed strategies and variable strategies. A fixed strategy, no stock market direct participation. In other words, the money that's in your policy is not placed in the stock market. The insurance company they have some strategies that are going on separate and apart from where your money is being held that invests in the market. And you get returns based on that. And there's four major kinds of permanent insurance: whole life, which is the oldest, universal life, index universal life, and variable universal life. The differences in these companies are basically what they're invested in, how premiums are handled, and the ways you can take money out the policy. And that's why you need to get a financial professional and get a strategy done so they can look at all these for you to figure out which one might be best for you based on the strategy that they recommend to you. How much life insurance should you buy? Well, we talked about this. And you look at how much a funeral is going to cost, how much do you owe? You look at your income replacement. Like I said, the young person that had, 50 years, at least 30 years to work, and they make 150 grand. That's $4.5 million that you're going to make, not including raises. If you don't buy a life insurance policy, your family's not going to see that. Who's going to write your family a check for $4.5 million? Probably nobody. But you can write that check to yourself with the life insurance policy. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just sharing with you what is. Pay off a mortgage through it, education, retirement savings, that kind of thing. If you die early, then you won't contribute to your retirement program. Now your spouse is kind of holding the bag, so to speak. Now, I'm going to try to do this and see if I can do this. I'm going to bring up this other presentation. I want to show you something. I'm going to show you something. So this is called, it's called Index Universal Life. I just want to show you something real quick of how it works. And the way this policy works is you have life insurance, and part of the money you pay into the premium, and it's flexible how much you put in, how often you put it in. As long as there's a minimum put in every year, you're good. And part of it goes to pay off life insurance, and part of it goes into cash value. The younger you are, the more that goes into the cash value bucket. And that bucket is usually growing ahead of inflation. And depending on some companies, you can get very high market-like rates of return, okay? Like it says, 12 to 15% and up. And some of them don't even have a cap on them. And they avoid loss, so when the market crashes, you get 0 to about 1% put into your account. Does that make sense? That's how it works. These policies also have living benefits that we just talked about. Critical illness and chronic illness that don't kill you. Long-term care where you're laid up in the hospital and you need custodial care because you can't go home and take care of yourself. That's long-term care. And almost everybody in America is going to need long-term care at some point because we're living so much longer. So the death benefit is paid out tax-free to your heirs, and the cash value grows tax-free, and you can take loans against it for free, which is a great deal, right? You got several thousands of dollars inside of a life insurance policy that we can pull out at no cost to us. And you don't have to pay it back because the death, we keep the life insurance in force, the death benefit pays it back. So here's a bunch of stuff that's going on. And these lines are supposed to come in one at a time, but it didn't translate that way when I copied it. So you have life insurance, and let's say you're paying $500 a month. That's in the middle, $500 a month. 120 goes to the cost of insurance. What is this 380 being doing? Save for you. That's why when people say, man, $500 seems like a lot for insurance, it's not. You're paying 120 bucks. 380 is going into an account for you. And that's happened every year. Or more often than a year, if you want to put more money in it than the 500, why would you want to do that? Because the money grows without being taxed, and you can take it out without being taxed through a policy loan. And you don't have to pay it back because the death benefit is your collateral for the loan. And by keeping the policy in shape, they're sure to get their money back. Okay? We talked about the living benefits, heart attack, stroke, cancer, accident. You get laid up and no additional cost. Part of that, if you had a $250,000 policy, part of that money could come to you right now in cash to take care of those issues. You got the death benefit, and if you set up the policy this way, you get the death benefit plus the cash that's in the policy paid out tax-free. And that's increasing every month, every year for the most part. Has it had down years? Yes, but it still beats many other investments, and it beats a fixed return in a savings account. Okay? All right. So, I'm going to skip past that. It's a flexible premium. You don't have to pay out the same amount of premiums every month. If you have some rough months, you can just pay the minimum. If you have a great month, pay more. You get living benefits, chronic, critical, and terminal illness. You get sick and meet the criteria, you can have money given to you. We had a friend, 7 kids, diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer, had a term insurance policy for $500,000, took $400,000 out to take care of his family. For a policy that costs less than 75 bucks a month. Pretty good benefit, huh? A permanent insurance policy is like a marriage till death do its part. As long as you fund the policy correctly, it'll never expire in life, which means it'll take care of you. If you get sick, it will take care of your family if you pass too soon. But will you take care of the policy through to retirement if you can? Cash value index account. The cash value is growing at an indexed account, so you get the gains of the market up to 10 to 12%. And there are some policies where you can lock in the gains at a certain level. And the level's guaranteed, which is pretty cool. You can guarantee your money at 8, 10%, no matter what. And you're growing it tax-free. That's a great benefit. Like I said, the taxes is deferred, and when you take it out, you don't have to pay. Tax-free distributions and accessible. You can always get at your surrender value as long as you have some. So why insurance policy over Roth IRA? Because you can income out of a Roth IRA. You can make too much money. You make over $153,000 if you're single, $228 if you're married, you're out. You can't use a Roth IRA. You can only use the insurance for that kind of benefit. Okay? Just wanted you to know that. Okay? Now, guys, no GoFundMes, okay? You can get a hold of me. You can find a life insurance person and get it handled. Get it handled. You guys got my email and phone number. He'll put it up so you can see it. Get a hold of her, brother, and let's get that fixed, because nobody has to die without a will or a trust or without life insurance. That's my phone number. You call it, it'll send me a text and I'll get back to you. and we'll get your plan put together and make sure you're safe. And it'll be something you understand and something you can afford. No pushy salespeople. We're concerned that you live the life to its max, and when you pass away, your family afterwards still reaps the benefit of the great life that you live. Does that make sense? So we're excited to be here with you, and I'm excited to potentially be working with a new team of folks and bring some great stuff to you. But I'm going to introduce you to them anyway because they're the truth. Okay, and they're right out of Atlanta. So you guys in Atlanta, man, y'all got some awesome people down there. So anyway, this Gus Tucker is Financial Freedom Fridays, Life Insurance Awareness Month. Get a hold of a brother. Make sure your life insurance is intact. Okay, we're going to be talking about the 4 levels of financial security. We're going to be talking about the 8 breakthroughs you need to go through, and then some specific strategies that you can put in place. I'll be bringing on experts in these different areas who can talk to you about how to take advantage of these things. Okay, so hey, you guys have a great weekend and take care of yourselves. Have fun, and we'll see you back here next Friday. Okay, Financial Freedom Fridays